government and also the civilian. Innovation management. In the innovation management, this is really very good, especially for a big organization. What about the better together, ideation and also universal request in service? Hey everyone, welcome to the ServiceNowStar. I'm your host, Mohammed Kamal. On today's session, we'll talk about the ServiceNow Federal Forum. The ServiceNow Federal Forum 2024 is currently going on at the Gaylord in Maryland. Today we'll talk about some of the topics that we have here in the ServiceNow Forum. But before that, let's just talk a little bit about Dr. Raj, which ServiceNow named him to lead the global public sector area. Dr. Raj brought a lot of experience, more than 30-year experience working on the government and also the civilian. And we all also remember that Dr. Raj is the first U.S. Army first ever civilian CIO as well. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and talk about today. Today we're going to talk about the digitizing manual processes. You know, ServiceNow, the main focus here is digitizing different manual process, right? If we go away from manual and bring everything in a digital environment, that's where you can also improve your time. I can name hundreds and thousands of different manual process that has been digitized using the ServiceNow platform. For today, we will go ahead and focus on the innovation management. We all know that the innovation management ServiceNow come up with this idea management in portal, where you can go ahead and store your different ideas. You know, people can vote them, so that way it can help you avoid creation of a duplicate, and people can collect votes from. Now, not only that, with this innovation management, you can also create, if you have, for example, a large organization, you can also have different portal setups where you have their own categorization and so on. So this is one area where it become digitized. So now the benefit here is used to be sending idea through could be an incident and people using the incident form or different kinds of forms, or just Word doc and Excels and different this kind of disintegrated mechanism. But now you can use this innovative management using the ServiceNow portal directly, so we'll have visibility, people can have a visibility, and also which one is more beneficial and so on. The innovative management, which is an idea portal, it's a really great place where you can collect these different ideas from your employees. You can create them, promote ideas to a demand, and eventually to a project as well. The innovative management application really help you to gather these different kinds of idea within your organization and help you to evaluate their idea efficiently and also quickly, and help you identify the process of the ideas that are most significant to your organization when it comes to implementation wise and also budget wise and so on as well. The primary goal of innovative management is that where it can help you bring centrally all these different kinds of idea within your organization. Like I said, you can create this innovative management portal for your different department if you are really a big organization, and that way it can bring collaboration and also evaluation can be very easy, and you can easily prioritize, and eventually you can go ahead and implement those ideas, move those ideas into a project, help you ensure the platform will provide a single entry point for idea of all kind in your organization, so that you can categorize them, review them, and also prioritize. This help you ensure that your employee will have a complete visibility of what idea is coming in your organization, and then from there, you know, the people, they can vote which one is the best. Your employee will have a complete visibility of each idea that are coming in your organization, and also prioritize them and help to track, you know, where these ideas are, their status. They can be where this is just status are, and maximizing your employee engagement in the process. You see, that's where the point is, because if your employee are not engaged from the beginning, or your department are not engaged from the beginning, it's very hard to bring a change in a given organization, because it's not all about developing a given application, right? It's all about continually using that application and also improving and getting benefit out of that. When the idea first submitted, it became in a submitted state. This is the state where you can show that the idea is already submitted. When it becomes in backlog state, this means this idea is there in the backlog, but it's not yet implemented. In backlog means the idea is already accepted, but it's still in backlog. Implementation is not yet started, which means it is hold for possible development in the future. The status of the idea will get completed when everything is completed on that idea. There are times you can put an idea into a planned state. This means that, which means that the idea is accepted and a project demand epic feature or a story created from the idea for the current implementation. In this process overview, you can see right there in where the idea go ahead and entered either from the portal or from the backend. So these idea managers, they can review the idea that crossed the internal threshold for votes. All right, especially they will put different votes like how many votes you need to get from your organization, different employee, and then once it's reached that, the idea managers will go ahead and start review. Now they pulled that idea under review, right? And from there, at sometimes they might need more information if that idea doesn't have more clear information. Okay, now once they get that clear information from the one who submitted, in this case it might go back there and get and collect those additional information, right? And then once they get all of that, it will move to a feature already. If the features already exist, now you will determine if that feature is already exists, which means is it a duplicate, right? If it's a duplicate, you will go ahead and close the idea as already exists because it's already existed. Now in case sometimes that idea like two things here, features already exist or it's a duplicate. Okay, if that feature is already exists, you go ahead and close it. You don't need to do anything. But if that idea is a duplicate, let's say people might submit two different ideas and then you find one and that's already a duplicate, in that case you will set that reference to the original idea and then you're gonna go ahead and close that idea. Okay, so that way you make sure that that idea is related to the other one and then you go ahead and close it. If it is not a duplicate, you will take a look at for visibility. Is it visible, okay, at that time to implement? All right, and if it's not visible, you go ahead and close again that idea because of it's unlikely to implement. But at time if it's visible to implement that idea, we'll go ahead and update the state to a backlog and you create a task. Now when you create a task, there are different types of tasks that you can create. For example, one of the tasks will be creating of a demand. Okay, and from there you plan the work for the upcoming release or also project. For example, you create a demand and then from there that demand could go further to a project as well. Okay, so this is the life cycle for idea from creation to all the way making sure is it a duplicate or feature is already exist, is it feasibility wise, is it easy to implement right now or not. Okay, and from there creating the task. In like I say, there are different types of tasks from idea you can create. One of them is demand. All right, and from there you go ahead and update the idea state to a planet, and from there it will go all the way to update the idea in different, and then eventually you will go ahead and mark the idea as complete. So this is the innovation management in ServiceNow. Now let's talk about the better together ideation and also universal request in ServiceNow. Organization can provide a single source of origination for employee that are often required to diagnose their issue where employee may not know the appropriate owner or even department. Now this universal task is a framework where you can plug into your workflow and let your agent create the task for you. Here we have a simple diagram that shows the universal request. What happened here is a user create a universal request. Now the agent convert that universal request, which means the ticket, into ideation or ideation workflow continue as it's the downstream workflow. Okay, now this is what we call it a universal request. That means anything can be sent it, okay, and your agent will go ahead and take care of it from there. Is it an idea? And it will go ahead and continue that idea through the flow. Okay, ideation manager role is required to convert your universal request to an idea. So that's the role you need, which is idea manager role. They need that one, so that way they can go ahead and work on this. When this universal request come, your agent have to know which request type is it. Is it gonna be an idea? So they need to know, move this idea into a demand and so on, so it can follow the process from there. And from there, the idea managers will go ahead and review those ideas that are created out of the universal request. Okay, so that is what we call it better together. Better together. Now, as the agent create these different kinds of tasks out of the universal request, different kinds of fields. For example, the short description will go ahead and move to the next thing that has been created from that ticket. The idea created from the universal request become the primary ticket for the universal request, and the primary ticket field is populated with the idea number. Here is a simple flow that can show a universal request came, right? You got your agent, they go ahead and create this idea, which is the ideation, and that ideation will move to an idea manager task. So the idea managers will go ahead and review those ideas that has been created, and then they will determine, can this go to a demand, epic, etc, or etc. So that is what we call it universal request, UT, universal request in ServiceNow. If we take a look at transferring an idea with or without resolution, if the idea is rejected or cannot be implemented, the routing agent can transfer those ideas to another department. When an idea is transferred to another department, the idea will be closed and a new record will be created. A good example on this one is a universal request related to HR. Process improvement can be converted to an idea and then transferred to the HR department as an HR case when the idea is deemed not visible. That's in short the universal request looks like in ServiceNow. Alright, so today we covered important point in the ideation, which is the ServiceNow universal request. The universal request is better together, idea and request together. That means your agent will go ahead and create an idea out of a request that came. Okay, that's one thing. And the other is where you can create different kinds of these innovative management portal or application for your different department and based on their categorization and so on. Now this idea will be submitted from the portal, and then from there, once it gets submitted, there is a lot of voting will going on. When it's reached that threshold, that idea will go ahead and move to demand manager, and demand manager will start to review it to determine will that idea move to be a demand or different kinds of things can be created, different kinds of tasks can be created. Okay, a universal request is just nothing but you are combining idea and also these different kinds of requests together. It will be submitted, your agent will go ahead and analyze those idea, and once they analyze, we'll go ahead and create an idea. Okay, and that idea managers will go ahead and review those ideas and will determine. And there is also when this universal request sometimes came, and idea manager sometimes need to decide whether that need to go to a different department, and in that case that need to be closed as well. Alright, that's all we have in this first session of the Fed ramp or the Fed forum, the Fed forum 2024. I will see you on the next session. Here I'll be making more videos about the Fed forum 2024. I am your host Mohammed Kamal. If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, have a great day everybody. Thank you for your support.